Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I want to talk about the Kubota Treadle-Pedal, right? And this pedal, this rocker pedal that they have here, push forward to go forward, push your heel back over here to go back. And this is one of the things that I really don't like about the Kubota tractors. Main reason is that if you're doing a lot of back and forth work, where you're pressing your heel on the back of the pedal, it is going to cramp up the back of your leg, okay? So I've heard other people mention it, and it's true. Yeah, if you're doing a lot of back and forth work, especially if you're like in muddy conditions or slippery conditions where you're holding your foot down for a long time, you know, trying to get out of a sticky situation, it's definitely gonna, you know, working the pedal in the back over here is definitely going to cramp up the back of your leg. Okay, now let me get on the tractor and we'll talk to you guys a little bit more about this. All right, so on the tractor here, I have to believe that this was either a cost-saving measure that they put in or an ease of engineering type of measure. And the reason is because I don't think there's anybody at Kubota that basically uses this and says, "Wow, you know, treadle pedal, this feels awesome." Okay, if I had a side by side. Right, side by side, you keep your heel on the ground, and basically you're going back and forth. Right, the way you normally work with the brake and the gas pedal in your car. Right, so that's a more natural motion going back and forth on a side to side pedal. You don't have to lift up your legs with the treadle pedal. Right, I have to push forward here, then lift my leg up, push on the heel back here. So I'm actually lifting my entire leg up each time. Now I've tried other techniques, like I've tried putting my toe underneath it and lifting up, and that's really tiring because you're using a relatively small muscle in the front of your shin to try and pull that up, and you're not going to do that for long. Okay, I've tried like kind of resting my foot kind of in the middle and rocking it back and forth, but I don't get enough reach. So you gotta lift up your foot, move it back and forth every time. You know, I mean, you can get used to it, like you can get used to anything. I mean, quite honestly, the first time, because this is my L3800, and I had this, you know, I got this about 8 years ago. Prior to using this, I had used an excavator, and on excavators, the treadle pedal is kind of common. So that's why when I got on it, I didn't think it was like that unusual. But then I did work on a couple of other tractors after buying this, and I said, yeah, though, you know, having side by side is way easier than this back and forth, you know, lifting your leg up. And you know, it basically, the main thing is it cramps up the back of your leg if you do a lot of reverse work. Okay, so now I will mention a couple other things that people sometimes bring up as a problem with the treadle pedal. And a lot of times people will say, well, if you go to hit the brakes, your foot's going to slip off the brake and you're going to hit the front. And that part is nonsense, right? That's absolutely nonsense. You're not going to do that. The reason why you'll almost never do that is because you're never going to use your brake. I never use my brake to stop the tractor. You know, basically with a new tractor like my L3901, which is at another location, when I lift up my foot, the pedal pops up within a second and the tractor stops, right? So you don't have to use the brake. The only time I use my brake is if I'm trailering the tractor and I need to, like, basically engage the parking brake to keep it from coming off, you know, sliding on the trailer, or if I'm on a slope, right? So the only time I use my brakes is in conjunction with the parking brake over here. Okay, now one of the things that people have mentioned is, what if you gotta use a what if you gotta use the split brake? All right, so let me get the little split brake lever out of there. Okay. So let's say I'm trying to make a really tight turn. If you're trying to make a tight turn, that's not a problem either. All you do is, let's say I want to, you know, make a tight turn to the left. You press on the brake here, and then push down with your heel here. So that's not an issue. Or making a tight turn to the right, push the brake down over here. You know, press down the heel there. The problem with this is you can't go in reverse, right? So if I wanted to make a tight turn in reverse, you know, basically I'd have to move my foot to the other side and somehow use my feet together like this, which is, you know, idiotic. So I don't have, you know, but this is something I would never do. I've used another tractor many years ago that basically had that was a gear-driven tractor. It had a throttle underneath the brake, underneath the pedal like this, right? But the way that worked is, if you needed to use the split brakes to make a tight turn, you had a lever on the left side here, similar to the throttle lever on this side, but but basically that was connected to your to your accelerator. So what you could do is press down. Let's say you wanted it to brake really hard to the right. I would basically pull the lever here, which would give me basically move the tractor forward. And what happens? This throttle over here was directly connected to the gas pedal down there, and the two would move together, right? So they would be locked in. It would actually lock in place, pretty much the same way that the cruise control works on these L series tractors, if you get that option. Okay, and I didn't get the option. If you do get the cruise control basically sits in this slot right here. Now, like I said, I never got that option. What I actually did is, this is my 3-range gear selector. I actually bent this out because this was hitting the back of my leg. So it's a tip to do that. What I recommend is just, you gotta basically completely remove this stick and then put this on an anvil and hammer it, so that it'll bend it out. Don't try to bend it while it's in there. Conversely, on this side with the 3-point lift, yeah, that I was able to put a stick under here and just push on it, and I was able to bend that out so it's not touching my leg. All right, but anyway, going back to the cruise control. Cruise control would be nice, right? If it wasn't so complicated, because the way they made the cruise control, the way they designed it, it works like the cruise control in your car, right? Where as soon as you hit the brake, right? If I were to hit the brake, it would deactivate the position that you would set the cruise control over here. Well, it doesn't need to be that complicated, right? What they should have done is just tie it to the forward or reverse without tying it to the brake, because that's just completely unnecessary on a tractor where you're going to be going forward so fast. First of all, you're never ever going to use the brake on your tractor other than as a parking brake. And here's the thing, on this tractor here, this is the L3800. It's 8 years old. My pedal takes basically, and I've tried greasing it and stuff. See, it takes 1, 2, almost 3 seconds to come up. 1, 2 seconds to come up. Okay, so if I'm pushing forward, right, and I need to come to a sudden stop, right, I don't go to the brake, right? If I'm pushing forward and let's say I'm heading towards one of my trucks or something, I basically just the way I brake this tractor is from forward. I go, I just basically heel it back here. That is a lot more convenient than trying to come up there. Okay, so that's really the way I stop this tractor. If I need to stop it really fast, I'll just come back and hit the pedal. And on the newer tractor, that's not an issue. It's really an issue on these older tractors because it comes up a little bit slower and the tractor keeps rolling. But the faster fix is just to heel this back, and that'll stop the tractor, or move it quickly in reverse if I need to move it in reverse. Okay, so what else can I say? Let's talk a little bit about the split brake a little bit more. Now, one of the benefits of a split brake is if you do not have 4-wheel drive, right? Now, this tractor has the 4-wheel over here, and it has the differential lock over here. If you have an older tractor that does not have these features, and let's say my left wheel is spinning on this side, well, what you would do is basically you got your split brake on, you would brake your left wheel, right, and then push down over here, and that'll send power to your right wheel. Okay, because by braking your left wheel, you stop that spinning action. Differential locks, the differential sends the power to your right wheel, and you accelerate forward a little bit, and that's how you get out of that hole. Likewise, if my right wheel was spinning on this side, I would brake the right wheel, heel it down a little bit like this, and that would get me out of a stick situation. But that's something that, other than just testing it out, not something I would actually do while working, because I've got 4-wheel drive. Okay, it's a lot more convenient to pull this lever up, get yourself in 4-wheel drive. Now, when you're using 4-wheel drive, what you really have is 3-wheel drive, right? So in order to get all 4 wheels really working, you got to also heel this down. One of my complaints about this differential lock here is that they should have put a bigger pedal on that thing. That's ridiculously small. When it's raining, when I got mud all over my boots, or when I got snow, my foot will basically just slip off this thing a little too easy. So that they should have made that pedal a lot bigger. Gave you someplace to stand on. Okay, so those are my thoughts on this. Hold on, let me get off this tractor. So that's what I have to say on the treadle pedal. I think it was either a cost saving measure. I mean, I imagine if they had put a side-by-side pedal, well, now you got two pedals. Maybe that would have made it a little more expensive, but they could have easily fixed this by just rotating it, right? By putting, let's say, this side on that side and this, so they could have just rotated this around so that you could, work this as a side-by-side pedal and really kept the same engineering. All they would have had to do is just bring this out a little bit more towards the center over here. So it's just, it's just not good. I mean, that's the only thing I don't like about tractor. I mean, I've heard them say that, hey, it makes it really easy for the, for somebody that's not familiar with tractors, or for your wife to use. But hey, listen, they would get, if you give them a side-by-side pedal, it would take them about 10 seconds to figure out which pedal they have to use, all right? So the learning curve is really short on the pedals. Now, all that said, right, given that I do not like the treadle pedal, I've got here my L3800, and this year, 2021, I just bought an L3901, which I keep at a different location. So here's the thing: even though I don't like the treadle pedal, it wasn't enough to make me not buy another tractor when I need another tractor. Okay, my first concern, the first thing I considered is, where is the closest dealer? Who's my closest dealer? Are they fully stocked, right? Do they have a full shop? How quickly can they get my tractor fixed when it breaks, right? And machine, especially tractors, the machines that you use hard, they do break, and I want to be able to get my equipment into the shop as fast as possible, get it back as fast as possible. And it makes, my Kubota dealer is about 30 minutes, or not even 20 minutes away. And they got a pretty big shop, and they've got lots of parts there. The nearest John Deere dealer was like an hour and 10 minutes away. So that's 2 hours and 20 minutes going back and forth, right? Versus, versus 40 minutes drive back and forth. So, that really was the most important consideration. Who's the closest dealer, and how quickly, are they fully stocked? Do they, are they a dedicated dealer, right? Because I don't want to buy my tractor, let's say at a place that mainly sells like trailers, and then they sell, let's say, maybe tractors on the side, because they're not going to have mechanics there. They're not going to have, they're not going to be fully stocked with parts. So I want to get a tractor from a place that's basically full-time. All they do is sell that one brand of tractor and are experts in that tractor. And when it breaks, they don't have to do any research. As soon as you bring it into the shop, they know what they got to fix right away. That's what I want from a dealer. And that's why I went with the Kubota twice, okay? So even though I don't like the treadle pedal, everything else on the tractor, listen, it works pretty good. I'm able to get my job done. And like I said, the most important thing is, who's your closest dealer. If John Deere was closer or Mahindra was closer, I probably would have went with one of those, But the most important thing is, who's closest, who can fix your tractor the fastest when it breaks. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're not a member of my channel, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys soon.